That should be better, I hope. My bad. Thank you. Riri, welcome back. Grovel, good to see you. Thanks, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining. I hope everybody had a good weekend. And we're going to go ahead and launch this game. And thank you again, everybody, for the sound heads up. I appreciate that. And here we go. Let's switch over. Dope, dope. Grovel, I forgot to ask what team you joined on the Splatfest last week. I was fortunate enough to be Team Gear, and it looked like Team Gear pulled ahead. I've never really understood the point of the Splatfest, but it's always nice to win something. Alright, we're on team with good old Egg. Well, we're looking pretty good blue so far. Nice shot from Saul. Blasted at the back. I was playing a game of Splatoon with a friend of mine when they reminded me of a mechanic sort of integral to the game of Splatoon that I had totally forgotten about. It explains some of why I've been getting so schooled about movement and having people sneak up on me, especially... Oh shit! Well, we traded. If you're going up a surface, so only up vertical surfaces with your squid, you can hold a button to do a super jump, which basically lets you travel up the vertical surfaces a lot quicker. It takes a second to charge up, but it helps prevent you from just getting kind of stuck on those vertical surfaces and getting shot in the back. I know it exists now, I just have to actually put it into practice. So let's give it a shot. There we go. Just like that. Nice bubble shield. He's gonna be sniping from my back for sure. Well, that seemed like a great first game. Grovel says that he beat Deathloop shorter than he expected. What'd you think overall, Grovel? I genuinely really enjoyed it. I thought it was a super fun romp. I don't think the many mechanics the game has are totally necessary for how short it is. There are a lot of these like really intricately designed stealth systems and your different abilities that you can level up and all of that. It all seems kind of unnecessary when the game is as short and as directed as it is. It's cool that it's there. But I do love what was there, even if there are so many things that the game leaves totally unexplained. And it doesn't even necessarily feel like it's a setup for a sequel, more so that they want you to kind of piece together some things. But nonetheless, super enjoyed it myself. It has some really cool set pieces, and when you finally complete that loop, you do feel, or at least I did, you know, pretty badass. I also hope that that they make a sequel for Deathloop. I'm not sure how well it did. And thank you, Riri. Today is the day where we conquer. What I mean, what a great start. How can it's you know, it's only portends greatness. That moment excluded. Well, that was easy. Oh shit. Was out of ink. Should have used my special. Hang in there, team. Or Nevada. Well, hang in there, Bay Wyatt. Stay alive, Bay. Oh shit, that's bad. Oh yeah, Bay. Nice shot, Dr. Rotten. Okay, let's not go directly out to that death pit there. Oops, fucked that up pretty good. That's okay, I'm out here for pain, I'm not out here for kills. That sucks for you, junkie. Dr. Rotten! Ooh. I thought it was closer than it was. We are getting that wrecked. Well, Charlie Rico, welcome back. Good to see you again. And Riri, right, this one was just a mere warm-up. Oh, it wasn't as far off as I thought. It wasn't a blowout. Isaiah 710 says, have you ever seen the Terp sous vide? It heats your quartz with hot air. I have not, but I like that name for the product. A Terp sous vide, like the kitchen accessory. The cooking thing with water, heating water. I have not, Isaiah. It sounds pretty cool. I'm guessing it is a way to do dabs. Is that correct? I'm curious if anybody here in chat has ever used one or knows of it, and if so, what they think of it. Ooh, Charlie. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Charlie says that they, haven't been playing Destiny and haven't set up our Wheat's Destiny Night because they broke their wrist. Oh man, my condolences, man. You know, I'm sure there are plenty of other inconveniences to having a broken wrist, more so than just not being able to play games. But at least you've got your socialized healthcare to, you know, not bankrupt you from a simple wrist fracture. But how long will you be in a cast? How long does a wrist fracture take to heal? Of course, I'm sure it depends on the severity, but I have no idea what you'd be in store for if it's 6 weeks or 3 months. Charlie asked if I know about the Super 73 bike, and Charlie, it's so strange you mentioned it. Hey, I almost think I brought it up here on a stream before, because of its total ubiquity with the Southern Californian rich teenager market. I live close by to a lot of insanely rich teenagers. I am neither a teenager nor insanely rich, nor even moderately wealthy, but I live close by to a lot of them, and it is the Super 73 is like the iPhone of e-bikes. It's just every teenager has one, except for that, you know, the one weird kid that you're all a little bit concerned about who has a Samsung Galaxy in high school. But yeah, it's just, if you're a teenager with money here, you've got a Super 73 e-bike. I've got a one wheel for all of my crazy, suicidal, need to get a lot of speed and moderately dangerous kind of electronic vehicle purposes that I love. But the Super 73s look very cool, no doubt about it. Oh, that's a sniper. He wants to do bad things to my body. Not very successful at the wanting to do bad things to me, though. You were right, Riri. That was just a warm-up. We're back, baby. This is the day of domination. The time Ethan prophesied, though. Well, that was some real bad shooting on my part. I'd say they got destroyed. Charlie, this game is a lot of fun. If you have a Switch, you owe it to yourself to give it a chance. And it's just, it manages to be both very competitive, but also very low stakes. Like, you don't, each game feels very adrenaline inducing. You're always on a game of Splatoon, but you don't ever feel like, because as also a function of how short they are and how sort of inconsequential they are, you never feel, that, like, just totally sense that you've let down people or you've ruined the experience for others when you do really bad. Or I don't know if other people have these feelings when playing multiplayer games, but I don't know. Splatoon managed to both feel like you're doing something fun and exciting, but that it's also low stakes and who really gives a shit who wins at the end. Well, awesome, man. Charlie, I'm so glad to hear. I mean, it is very cool that you were able to work and get exactly what you wanted. You know, it sucks that it took a while to get the funds together. But you can also be rest assured that you are the coolest kid in Scotland with your Super 73. And you would be the coolest, you know, among the coolest kids in the United States, are tastemakers out here in Southern California. And I hope you're proud of yourself that you were able to work and save for something for 10 months and get it. That's an admirable skill. Dr. Rotten and Sundance. Well, those 3 shots didn't accomplish much. I don't know what I was doing there. That was some bad shooting. Ooh, I'm gonna go join our buddy, Junkie. He's all alone up in the place. Go Gators, by the way. I think this is the color of the Florida Gators. We got this, Blue. Let's fill in our corners here. Well, maybe not too much, because they're making some real headway here in the last 30 seconds. We got this, Blue. Sorry, Sundance. It's always more of a Tribeca guy. Ooh, I have no idea. I think it's gonna be close. Oh, we got this. It's not even close at all. Blue. Blew them out the water. Go Gators. Where I came from, those 2 words, go Gators, could legitimately get you the shit kicked out of you at many different times and places. Let's use this as an opportunity to keep going and do one more bag. And the next time we lose, we'll do our first stab. Charlie says, I chose it over a car to get to work, but then electric prices went up, so the car would have cost the same with petrol. Well, fuck Putin, first of all, Charlie. Also, Charlie, and forgive me if I get the terminology wrong, your country, I know you're Scottish, but the United Kingdom is going through an unbelievable period of hardship in a time where pretty much every country is experiencing all kinds of hardships. The UK is experiencing the worst, and certainly in the Western world, a lot of that self-inflicted. Your energy prices are going through the roof. But, Charlie, I think probably still a momentary blip in terms of energy cost equilibrizing. I wouldn't assume this is going to be anywhere near a permanent, and still made the wise choice for planet Earth, even if in the short term it hurts the pocketbook. That is purely a function of global politics, I think, and Great England's desire to shoot themselves in the foot at a rate that even America says, holy shit, what are you guys thinking? Poor Junkie. Hey, we sometimes he's friend, sometimes he's foe, but I've killed a lot of junkies today. Well, my teammate was there to avenge me and my stupidity. Junkie finally, though, did get a chance to wipe my smug ass from the board. Bad time for that. We've still got a whole minute. Excellent shot from, of course, Dr. Rotten, the Sniping King. Hang in there, Vera. Oh, damn. Ace. Helpful place. Noble. Sorry, Junkie. Sorry, Dr. Rotten. Not sorry, Dr. Rotten. Actually, very much sorry. I'm not Dr. Rotten. No! Balls in my mouth. Come on, Pink. It's all up to you guys. I'm out. I'm not going to be able to make a difference. Ooh, this one is going to be real close. But we did not pull through. Cool, we'll use this as a chance to get ourselves a dab in here. Charlie says, it's satisfying charging up the PAX 3 when I'm going out on the e-bike. He feels like he's living in the far-off future of 2030. Using his e-bike to charge his vape, that does feel like the future, but the future is now. E-bikes are everywhere, and they're doing cooler and cooler things. Let's get bummerific for a second and talk about the lack of the minerals and metals needed to make all of these batteries. We do not have enough nickel lithium on the surface of this planet for all of these e-bikes and cell phones and battery-based vaporizers. So of course we're mining, extreme quantities for them. That's not going to be enough. We don't really think about how rare those metals are, and now every year an increasing percentage of our economy, the global economy, not just the US's, maybe even more so for the world at large than the US's, because so much of the global economy now is relying on smartphones exclusively. All banking, all merchandise, or all like sales, all done through smartphones. So we don't stop to think just how precious these metals are. We don't have enough of them. So we're going to end up going to the seafloor probably at some point looking for lithium and nickel and all kinds of other crazy things, or very common things that we need to make the world work. But we are running low on those things, and every year we require more and more. It's very, I guess, reminiscent to the concept of peak oil in like the 70s, but one that we're not yet panicking about like we did then. Not quite sure why. But anyways, let's go do a dab. Let's switch over to the right camera. Beautiful. And we're still working our way through this rosin here. Charlie, we'll say this dab is for you and your industriousness, and you're saving for your Super 73, but also for the big F in chat, as the kids say, for your broken wrist. Hopefully you heal up soon, and you can join us in some Splatoon. This one's for you. Did remember to heat it, turn it on. Okay. Cheers, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us while we did that dab for our friend Charlie. Let's now switch back over to the right camera and hop back in the old tube. I think I can do it right here. I don't even have to hop in the tube. I can just press a button. Speaking of the future, gonna have to blow my nose. And unmuted. Oh, I forgot to see what we had on our team. Komodo Joe. A bunch of random letters. And another fell face force on the keyboard. Roadie 8. See, now that's a name. Well, like quite a few people, went and re-saw Avatar this weekend. It is back out in theaters, trying to get people excited for Avatar 2. Comes out later this year, Christmas time. I had not seen Avatar since opening weekend 2009, and I was incredibly disappointed, to say the least, at the time. I was so hyped for Avatar. I was like weirdly hyped for Avatar. Loved Jimmy Cameron. I thought the dude could do no wrong. I mean, I talked about it for years coming out, like, oh my god, I was that weird kid who, like, you know, tried to get people excited for this movie about blue people that was perpetually always going to be coming out. Like, the first date I took my future partner on, my wife, my girl, the person I am married to, was to go see a Avatar preview exclusively on IMAX for people who were, like, following the movie. It was like a really dumb thing. It was like a 13-minute preview 3 months before the movie came out. That's how excited I was. I was crazy excited for Avatar. Then the movie came out, and it was very dumb and not good. And I had largely forgotten about it. That maybe overstates my distaste for Avatar. I just thought it was a pretty shockingly stock standard blockbuster for somebody like James Cameron. And thought it looked cool, but just it was mostly disappointment that propelled my strong feelings, not so much the quality. But I still hadn't seen it since. But decided, oh, what the hell, let's go rewatch it. And without that, the weight of expectations, found it to be way more enjoyable the second time around. Even though it is still a very not good movie. And I, for some reason, wanted to go in, like, defending Sam Worthington and be like, oh, it's not his fault. He's fine. It's not... Ooh, yikes. Sorry, team. This isn't his fault. Anybody, you know, he did fine. He could have carried this. It's all the writing and directing. No, the dude totally sucks, and it's easy to imagine any number of other people being placed in that role and the movie being more entertaining. But it still looks incredible. The color palette is amazing. I don't know why more movies don't use that neon dripped color palette that Avatar uses, only for like 30 excellent minutes of running through a forest. The vista's all incredible. The text still holds up really well. But boy, it's just a really shockingly boring story with nothing surprising in it. The only one who seems to really kind of be having any fun is the villain, Stephen Lang, aka the blind guy from Don't See, Don't Tell, whatever that movie is with the blind guy who keeps girls to sexually assault in his basement. And then in the second one becomes the hero of the franchise. He's the villain in Avatar, and he's great. But, man, it's just so hard to think that this was the guy who gave us Terminator 2 and Titanic, an excellent blockbuster. And Avatar is a movie that is so devoid of anything interesting going on other than the cool things to look at. However, it does make me kind of think, boy, I still think James Cameron is a very smart guy and capable of making incredible movies. And he'd always have these plans to do a bajillion of these. Maybe this is all just setting up for something much, much better in the future. And I certainly hope that's the case. It's, I don't know if I expect that to be the case, but I'm optimistic that whatever the next 55 Avatar movies we get are going to be something quite a bit better than what it started with. There's one line. It's so badly written. Like, it is shockingly poorly written. Jake Sully, Sam Worthington, literally says at some point, "I hope this tree-hugging bullshit isn't on the final." I was both incredibly surprised to see how much of the movie I remembered. I remembered almost all of it. Because it's such a simple story, there's nothing. It follows very familiar story beats. If you've seen, I think Pocahontas is what it's most often, compared against. But if you've seen that, you know the structure. Pretty easy to remember all the big plot beats. But I had totally forgotten the MacGuffin, the thing that kicks off Avatar altogether, which is that Sam Worthington is a dead twin. He has a twin brother who is the overachieving scientist who dies before the movie begins, and Jake is brought in as a biological genetic replacement for him in this Avatar program. I'd totally forgotten that. It doesn't factor into the plot really at all, pretty quickly, but it's just a weird thing to use to kick off your plot, a dead, paralyzed twin. Yikes. Anyways, let's keep going here. I am sorry I have been neglecting chat. Let's kick back up. Jacob Nevin says, well, wake up. Welcome back. Jacob says, hey, Wheats, I'm happy you're posting again. I've been watching for like 5 years. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, Jacob. Glad you're here hanging out with us. Sorry it took me so long to say hello. And I'm just going to roll through some chat, make sure there's nothing to address. Grovel. Yes, I know that hammer thing. There's a big gavel. Big grovel. A big gavel that people have. Looks like a big Fisher-Price mallet that seems like it is unstoppable. And they just smash it over and over and over, spreading paint and death in front of them in a straight line. Well, that was a bummer. It's okay. Sorry, Leviathan. I tried, buddy. What else is there to say about Avatar? Oh, I'll say my buttholes. My last rant about Avatar is a call for a thing I don't know whether it's still happening or not. Which is, well, bit of preamble, of course, and that is the tech still holds up really well in Avatar. It is still, for sure, one of the showpieces for 3D, a technology I still happen to quite like a lot. Wish there was more going on in 3D, and sincerely hope that Avatar 2 reignites public interest in 3D as a tech. I love it. I doubt it will be as ubiquitous with 3D this time. It just seems like the public has kind of moved on, which is a shame, but having rewatched it in a nice 4K transfer, looks great, holds up well. James Cameron really thinks about depth in his scenes, and he makes sure that 3D is this additive experience. It's great. It looks perfect. Wish more people would do it. Although watching it, one thing happens to me that happens in a lot of action movies now, and that is it's the thing I've ranted about a lot, which is, man, I really, really, really wish it were at a higher frame rate. I think now is the time to try pushing higher frame rates again. And I am pretty sure Avatar 2 is still planning to be in at least 60 frames per second, which was the plan all along. It was supposed to be Avatar and like The Hobbit as pushing high frame rates. The problem is everybody hated The Hobbit, both as a movie and the technology in it. I think that's a lot of both problems with the movie itself, the implementation of the technology not being thought through, of course the public not being used to it. It looks crazy different being in high frame rates. But, since The Hobbit has come out, it has taken another 10 years for Avatar to come out, so people have kind of forgotten about high frame rates since. And I assume studios are very shy about using them because it didn't work well for The Hobbit. But Avatar, I think, has been shot, all of it, in at least 60 frames per second. And since The Hobbit has come out, the amount of things that are in much higher frame rates than film, it's just, people are so used to seeing things now at much, much, much higher refresh rates than film, which is 24 frames per second, that I think, even though it would still look weird in the movies to see something at high frames rate, the idea of high frame rates making things look smoother, not making them look weirder, is actually implanted in people's brains, because people who have been playing games on PC have been using screens above 60 frames per 60 hertz for a decade now. And cell phones, a lot of cell phones have been using high frame rate screens over 60 hertz for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, even if it took the iPhone a while to get there. And now even all the gaming consoles offer up to like 120 hertz. The idea of high frame rates just being foreign, generally speaking, I think has passed. And having watched the god-awful movie Gemini Man in theaters twice and 120 frames per second, I am so convinced it is the way to display movies with lots of action sequences that I hope Avatar 2 can do for high frame rates what it did for 3D. If in fact that's still the plan, which I super hope it is. If I owned an independent movie theater, like a little chain, and I could do a film festival, I would constantly show, like every couple of months, the dreadful Will Smith blockbuster called Gemini Man. Terrible movie, but I would get that awesome high frame rate print and show it to people just to get people excited for how cool movies can look. Oh, right! As a gimmick man, love gimmicks. Talking about 3D, high frame rates, I forgot to mention the best part about Avatar. The reason I was like, let's go see it in theaters. I went to go see it in D-Box, which is the awkwardly named technology where the seats rumble in Cinemark movie theaters. The seats vibrate in tandem with the action. Now, it's not 40X, which is another movie theater gimmick that I love, which is where the seats not just rock, but they move. They're on like server motors, and they twist and turn. They spray water in your face. It smells like shit on occasion because they spray chemicals that ostensibly pair with what's going on in the movies. Mostly just always smells like ozone and stale farts, but I love it. This is not that. This is just your seats vibrate, much like a video game controller in moments of action. And it was fun to watch it that way. Watching people get torn apart by flying dragon creatures while your ass felt nice and tingly. I can recommend it. D-Box. Terrible name. Okay, I will take a break after this one, whether we win or not, get caught up on chat, and grab us another bag. I'm so sorry, everybody, for my absenteeism. Oh, Riri, I'm sorry. That rosin flavor is... Shit. That's a good question. It's the same one I had last week. Unfortunately, the strain name has come off, and I can't remember. Something indica, but I can't be more specific than that, unfortunately. Eric, welcome, Eric. So glad you could join us, man. How are you? Hope you had a great weekend. Nice trap, Matty Hart. He baited me hook, line, and sinker. Forgot to jump. It's key to making that pop is actually pressing the button to jump. Dumb. I think there's something... I've been killed with that gun a couple of times in the just very recently. I'm not sure. It might have like a shield, or it might be sucking up the paint that I'm shooting at it in the front. Either way, I've should just avoid people with that weapon. It's not good for my health. I don't know what I thought I was going to accomplish there. Sorry, blue team. This one, this... didn't work that time, Matt. Not for a lack of trying, though, Matty. We got this, blue team. Quick, while they're not looking. There's that gun! Why didn't I use my special? Well, I'd say that goes our, there goes our momentum there. Nice splat, Arden. Huge. Okay, well, we're on a bit of a losing streak. The thing that we need now to help improve our... Oh my god. I thought for sure we had lost that. We must have had a hell of a last second push. They were definitely kicking our asses for the majority of that. I mean, I knew that was going to happen all along, and they, all we needed was this confidence from the beginning. And what was I ever worried about? Let's take a stop. Sorry, team. Although you guys were able to pull it out without me. Let's switch over cameras like we do, because we remember to do this every time. And let's go get ourselves a bag here. Okay, this is number 3. Eric, this one's going to be for you. Always appreciate you hanging out with us. Tony says, Yo, Eats and chat, I just passed a drug test for a new legitimate job using the fruit pectin method. So happy. Well, first and foremost, Tony, congratulations on your new, how did you describe it? Legitimate job. Congratulations, man. That is very cool. I hope it is a nice place to work and you enjoy your job there. And then further congratulations on passing your drug test. I'm sorry that they made you take one. It seems patently ridiculous that employers still test for pot, even in states where weed is illegal. It just seems absurd. We know that the knowledge of the people who use pot, the populations of people who use pot, it correlates to nothing that the employer could find objectionable. There's no if they smoke pot, they are more likely than other people to do X, Y, or Z that any employer could find reasonably objectionable. So it just seems like a waste of time and resources for employers to do it. But I'm glad that you were able to pass it using the fruit pectin method, one that I've heard people mention before, but never fortunately had the need to try to pass a drug test myself, so haven't had the opportunity to use it. But Tony, so glad it worked out for you. And Tony, if you don't mind, and feel free to be as vague as possible, what industry are you going to be? Is your new legitimate job in? I know you're down there somewhere. Oh, you're behind me somehow. And in front. Oh, Eric says audio's a little weird. Thank you, Eric. Let me see if I can't figure out what's going on. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, Riri. I appreciate you being here. Just saw you were taking off. Thanks for hanging out with us. I'm going to see if I can't figure out what's going on with our audio. And thank you, Eric, for the heads up. Any thing you can point to that specifically what's weird about it might help me narrow it down, especially while I'm a little impaired. I haven't switched back over. Well, that also could matter. Oh, then it should affect our audio. Oh my god, we're getting obliterated. Bravo said the audio sounds fine. Hopefully that's the case. But I will try to keep in. If anybody else experiences anything, let me know. Woof. Oh, Carl. Welcome, Carl. Good to see you. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Tony says it's in the manufacturing industry. It has decent pay and great schedule. So, Tony, my guess, because Tony is here in California, which makes the fact that he has to do a drug test that tests for pot even all the more infuriating. But my guess is, I actually don't know any specifics. So, Mr. Dunning-Kruger applies here. I'm talking on my ass. I don't know. This is pure speculation. And I'm never good at that. But I assume it has to do with insurance. Like, your company's insurance policy mandates that in order to keep at a certain level, or to not make premiums so high, or as a way to reduce the cost of premiums, they have to drug test all of their employees, and that the insurance company mandates pot testing because they've have some outdated actuarial table that says if people smoke pot, they are more likely to have on-the-job accidents. But again, that would be spurious reasoning. But that would be my guess, is that it is insurance related. And that would have to do with both the businesses like liability insurance, as well as even maybe your health care. Like, the company has some reason to think that if you smoke pot, you're less healthy. So they don't want to pay health insurance for people who smoke weed. That may also be a consideration. I'll protect your receipt. Well, seems like it's going pretty good for purple. That was a lucky shot. Oh, falling a man in a crab tank. That was a nice grenade on their part. I feel bad for him. That one was brutal, man. Carl, somebody who, an excellent contribution and speculation. Carl says the real problem is many businesses in California have government contracts or linked to one, so they follow federal guidelines. Carl, thank you so much for that. That is an excellent point. And yes, like many Western states, there are all kinds of federal lands programs military installations, so on and so forth. So many people federally employed out here that would make a total sense. I had never even considered that. I do know that some branches of the U.S. government, I don't know about contractors. I assume in the branches where they are having to make policy more lenient, that might also be true for people they contract. But in things like intelligence, basically anything that requires a high degree of technical computing skills, whether it be computer science, programming, whatever, the government's having a lot of trouble filling those positions with qualified people, and because many of those people can go get jobs in Silicon Valley paying a lot more than the government will pay, and also they are free to consume as many drugs and whatever as they want, not having to worry about any of those regulations, working for tech companies, but the federal government will let you if you have, not just security clearances, but any number of reasons. So I know like the FBI in certain divisions and the CIA in certain divisions actually have stopped enforcing certain drugs in drug tests, or at least telling candidates that, to help recruit new people. That was a little premature, but we never knew somebody might have popped up around the corner, and I needed some paint at that moment, so popped special. Purple, where are you guys? I feel like we're all alone here. Sorry, milkshake. Poor milkshake, man. I feel like I've turned into a McDonald's with, oh, there we go again with the number of times that they have been out of commission. There's the hammer of justice. I hope that was milkshake. No, it was K. Oh my god, I thought we were winning, demolishing them, but it looks like purple is kicking our asses? Holy shit, was I wrong. Wait, maybe not. But maybe not. Who knows? Katie B, welcome back. Katie, good to see you. Thanks for hanging out with us again. I forgot to see, but it looks like purple got us there. Milkshake, he pulled it out. Receipts brought the receipts. Milkshake brought all the boys to the yard. I'm just going to stop there. Carl says there's also a lot of FAA regulated stuff. Also makes sense. For, again, why there would be a lot of jobs in California that would test for weed. And of government agencies that I would imagine would not be lax on allowing many new recruits to be more experimental with their drug policies would be the FAA. I would also imagine the FDA would be up there as ones that. But then again, if they need qualified programmers, which all government agencies do, beggars can't be choosers. And if the FBI thinks that people who smoke pot are reliable, surely the FAA can too. Because, you know, they need to be worried about pilots who are routinely come into work drunk before they need to start worrying about all them kids smoking pot. Well, I don't mind if I do, if they're just going to leave their base kind of undefended like this. It's kind of nice to come in and redecorate a little bit. Oh, they're coming in. They're no longer okay with that. Damn, I have slung an unbelievable amount of paint already. Well, that'll slow me down. We got this, Yellow. I've really had a bad last minute. Ooh, I have no idea how we did. Oh, I think we got this, right? There's more yellow there. Substantially more. I'm currently inundated with mollusks and cephalopods in my life. I'm listening to the truly phenomenal follow-up to the best piece of fiction I've read this year. A book I've talked about many, many times on this stream. Children of Time. About well, whoops. It was about time for one of those. We had not yet had a communication error all stream. But anyways, yeah, talked a lot about this book about distant future world where there are spider people. Not spider people, but spiders that have been genetically altered to have very human-like qualities cognitively, and what that world would look like. Talked about it many, many times, won't go into it. Love the book called Children of Time. Follow-up's called Children of Ruin, and it takes all of those incredible concepts and ideas from that first one, but instead of spiders, this time we are confronted with what happens if you give all of the cognitive and social gifts that humans seem to possess, instead of giving those to a social species of spider, well, what if you gave those to a species that already seems to have some cognitive gifts of their own, but in are many other ways far more alien to us than spiders ever could be, and those are octopuses, octopi, octopodes, all acceptable plurals. And it's fantastic, so I've been hanging out with some octopi there, been hanging out with squid here, and I've been hanging out with both octopuses, octopi, and squids in the excellent book. Oh my god, I can't remember the title right now. I need to look it up. Ed Yong, the science writer for The Atlantic, his new book about animal perception, how animals perceive the world, how extremely different it is than humans, how every creature alive on this planet doesn't just, you know, it's not that they just have different senses or that the senses that we share are different in animals, but that their entire experience of living and being in the world is 100% alien to us, and it is weirder and more profound than we could ever possibly hope to understand. So we spend a lot of time with octopuses and squids in there as well, and they are truly fascinating, wonderful creatures. I could totally understand why you would assume that they would design a culture where they make sports of shooting each other or something. I'm not sure how Splatoon fits into that, but they're squids, so. It seems like it's pretty close. Let's get as many corners as we can. Oh, that's good. That's perfect. A wipeout in the last 10 seconds. Wonderful. Delightful. Let's hope that was enough, and I believe it was more than. Wonderful. Well, let's play till we lose, and then we'll do another dab. But it, again, who knows how long this streak will continue. It's reasonable to speculate months. Should not put this on the volcano yet, because that might. Alright, good luck, blue team. Burn in hell, red. I wasn't gonna let those sons of bitches take me alive. It was definitely a conscious decision and not just a fuck up. Oh my. Second time I've decided to drop myself in the drink. Thankfully, blue team seems to be picking up the slack. Hang in there, Fall Creed. Nice, okay. Looks like we're going pretty well. Nice grenade. Surely, 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 surely. Eric says the tiny mite is splattering me, not just knee deep. Eric, are those the name of people are you playing Splatoon right now, or am I so high that I'm missing the point? That seems the most likely. Skunked him. Wow, we are due for a course correction. Let's try to sneak one of these in real major quick like. Definitely happen. No problem for this game. Well, Eric, the answer was I was totally high because you were referring to a convection vape. The tiny mite is a delightful convection vape. I had never heard of it before. I have the non-tiny mighty from Stores and Bickle, the people who make the volcano right here with me. I just haven't used it yet on stream recently, but never heard of the actual tiny mite before. Well, thank you, Eric. The other one he mentions was a lyric from Funkadelic Knee Deep, which is referencing me, I was going to say killing myself twice in a row, but it's not really a thing you can do more than once. Unless you're John Constantine, I can't remember who it was that we were talking to in chat, I think it was last week or the week before, who said their favorite movie was the Keanu Reeves Constantine, a movie we talked about, and I said, boy, that is a movie that has a surprising following and this, I think, kind of unexpected reappraisal, cultural reappraisal, slowly building too, not like all at once. It doesn't seem to be the resurgence of the, well, not resurgence because it was never beloved, especially at the time, but the now internet's love for the movie Constantine, a DC superhero comic book movie from the early mid-aughts. It's getting a sequel 20 years later, which is just totally weird to me. And I hope you're super excited, person in chat who was a super fan of the Constantine movie. Tony asks if I've seen the Select brand Click pods. I guess I gotta go back in this elevator. Try this again. And yes, Tony, I have. I have not yet reviewed them. I will at some point for sure soon. They seem to be quite popular. And I wonder if it's a thing that Select, a hugely popular brand around the area, is going to stick with. What Tony's referring to is Select, again, another super popular Southern California weed brand, mostly known for their vapes, is starting their own battery line, little pods, Steezy Light, which I've seen in several places. They are very affordably priced. I just haven't tried it yet, but I anticipate that I will before too much longer. Eric also says that the Mighty is the golden standard. I certainly love my Mighty. I don't use it as much as my Volcano, but that's not because I don't love or don't use my Mighty. It's just the Volcano is the thing I use the absolute most of. But they're both excellent vaporizers from the same company. And if you are looking to invest in a good vaporizer and don't mind spending some cash, it should be the first on your mind. That's all true, of course, for herb vaporizers. Less true for concentrate stuff, which they do allow for the usage of. I think both Volcano and the Mighty, but they are less known for that. Although I think people do actually use them for that purpose. There are probably better alternatives out there if you're primarily concentrators. From behind, should have expected that. I was callously walking into their base, assuming it's undefended. Eric says he uses the Mighty dosing pods in just about everything. That is the signature cool thing about the Mighty. I've actually got a couple right behind me. I'll grab one after this match. Is that the Mighty you can make little capsules for ahead of time. Put them in a little aluminum pre-ground, pre-measured amounts. Stick them right in your Mighty. It makes it so easy to clean. Take it with you anywhere. Show you in just a second. And I totally agree with you, Eric, that the capsules is the best thing about it. Or I don't know if those are your words, but... Yikes! Cody said that he was able to get one of the Click batteries for a penny as part of a promotion and that he enjoys it so far. We're glad to hear it. I've definitely seen them out there subsidizing their batteries like that at places. Glad you were able to take advantage of it. I know most batteries I've purchased that are not standard 510 batteries. Wow, I did not think we were going to win that. Really looked like yellow had more paint on them. No, oh, they missed their corners. It's a little hard to see now, but I think they did not take the time to fill in their base, which might have cost them the game. But back to what we're saying. Sorry, distracted. Tony, I think most batteries I've picked up from specialty batteries for different pods or different non-standard 510 ones. Almost all of those have been from some kind of promotion where they'll subsidize the cost of the battery. It's the razor blade or razor handle model of business where you give away the razor handle for free because you know the profit is, of course, in the buying of the product over and over again. With razors, the razor blades, with the pods, the actual pods. While those things are not free, and it does, you know, they are taking a gamble. They are may even be losing money on you, depending on how cheap that initial cartridge was, by giving you that battery for a penny. The hope is that you will like it enough that you will keep buying. And then, you know, another pot or two, they'll be in the black. Somebody saved my life by killing that guy behind me. Super appreciated, teammate. I don't even think you realize you saved my life. Nick. Eric says, make your money on the consumables. It's in everything from printers to dialysis machines. So true. I had not heard that our kidney health was being now infected with this grotesque, I don't know, monetization scheme. I didn't know that dialysis machines were built around this, but that doesn't surprise me. There's some raw material in them, I'm guessing, you know, used for testing or whatever, that they have to replace. So why not turn that into a profit center? Of course, printers, Eric, excellent example of really nefarious model. Although printers are the worst of both worlds, Eric, in that they are the model we're talking about, where they make the original product somewhat affordable and then really make their profit on the very cheap ink cartridge refills that you have to do over and over, and make those more than their weight in gold. But it sucks, especially with printers, though, because they haven't even figured out the actual original technology. All printers, home-based printers, still suck to a large degree, and you're still replacing that all the time, in addition to then having to sign up for whatever awful virtual monopoly on printer ink, you know, you are supporting to. Printers are the worst. And thank God the smartphone is probably largely killing the home printer. Eric, elaborating on what they do with dialysis machines, it is the companies will lease the machines out, but then charge for the basic tubing and filters. Again, probably the very cheap stuff to actually produce, but is made not in a generic, easily replaceable, where all the parts are universal kind of way, but all of these filters and tubes, I'm guessing, are custom for this specific machine so that they can then turn those things into a profit center because nobody can easily replicate them, which is a model, of course, so many businesses take. Eric brings up the infamous example recently of BMW putting their heated seats behind a subscription model. And I don't think it was there was such a huge outcry and so much understandable hatred thrown BMW's way after they tried it. But I don't think that they have pulled back. I think in Europe it is, as far as I know, still an extra cost to get your seats heated, even though the ability is right there in your car. It's not like it is just it's literally DRM in your car, and you're paying for a software unlock to allow you to do this thing that your car already has the capability of it doing. But BMW has, for no other reason than they have said, oh, we can turn this into a monetization stream, prevented you from being able to access it without paying them additional costs. Of course, this is also really nefariously seen in the agricultural sector with tractors, very expensive, very, very niche vehicles, which you sign, even though you buy the vehicle, you're also leasing the software for, and that includes unbelievable clauses like John Deere can just render your vehicle inoperable at a moment's notice and not have to give you any kind of rhyme or reason for doing so. And for no other reason probably than they would like to, continue to make money from you years after you purchase from something. So they will hide certain key features behind, I don't know, paywalls. It's awful. It's a real gross world that we're living in terms of well, there's not a lot of we live in a time of, it's surprising to say because we live in a world that feels like it has all of this technological breakthroughs, but really it's marginal technological breakthroughs. There hasn't been a lot of progress, which has led to economic stagnation, which has led, until, inflation very recently might change this, many people competing for a pie that is not as growing nearly as fast as it once was. And so the only way to get a bigger share yourself is to, instead of, you're not going to try to innovate or create out something new, you're going to try to, use financial chicanery to expand your slice of pie, or at least keep it the same size as it was before. Anyways, it is just a depressing note to end on, but I think I'm going to take, and I'm so sorry, I saw Mirik just joined us on Twitch. Mirik, welcome back. Thanks for hanging out with us. But unfortunately, guys, well, you know what? Let's go do one last dab with everybody. Mirik, this is going to be for you. Sorry for dabbing and bouncing, but let's go do a dab. And somebody give a fun topic to end on, other than the sad state of subscription-based and other exploitative practices becoming the focal point of the new service economies. I think at some point we're all probably just doomed to go back to company towns and all working for, the new equivalents of railroads, spending Amazon bucks at an Amazon village, all of which goes ultimately back to Jeff Bezos and whatever. Not that Bezos will be the one ultimately to do it, but I think company towns are probably where we ultimately end back up again. It just seems like the most natural extension of the direction our capitalist society is headed. And I'm so high right now. Let's go do one more dab and stop talking economics. I could totally imagine us going back to a paternalistic world of literally company towns using some kind of non-fiat currency, because that will be the way for most people to guarantee some modicum of stability in their lives. And I don't think of this as an optimistic future, but a plausible. Anyways, here we go. Let's do one last stab. Merrick says, don't end on this. Merrick, throw me anything out. I'll rant on anything. Give us a topic. This stab is for you. Our final topic. I promise. Give us something to talk about, and we'll go out on that. Here we go. In the meantime. Well, Eric, I really admire the effort, Eric. Which is that Eric says he's going to give this optimism thing a try. Imagine the quality of weed in 10 years. And Eric, I would love to imagine the quality of weed in 10 years being something very different than it is today. But I actually don't think that can be true. We have now hit like world records in weed. I was going to try to compare it to like human achievements in athletics, but I don't know those records at all to make any comparisons. But things at this point going forward in terms of weed quality are going to be matters of degrees instead of leaps and bounds. It is definitely diminishing returns. And the reason simply being is they have hit the physical limit of the maximum amount of THC basically you can get from a plant. There's an upper bound, and they're practically there. And in terms of extracts and concentrates, there are also practical. I mean, you can have a distillate that's 99% THC or very close to it. You can have a live resin with 95% cannabinoids with a mixture of THC and naturally derived terpenes. But we are at those literal physical limits because there's been so much physical or science already conducted in weed, because there's a lot of money in it. There's been a lot of research done on weed. I don't think weed quality is going to get that much better in 10 years. I think there'll be a lot of other exciting breakthroughs. I think they'll continue to find novel and interesting things to put THC inside of, novel and interesting ways to extract THC from the plants that are now so loaded with THC molecules that it's literally impossible to imagine them getting any more THC rich than they are. But I assume most of the breakthroughs in weed science in the next 10 years are going to be largely commercial. Whether that's like, they're going to find incredible ways to, but even there, we are already seeing, no, I stand by that. Yeah, I think you'll see some incredible commercial innovations in weed in every meaning of that word, both in terms of ways to sell weed, ways to market weed, ways to produce weed in scale, ways to extract THC at scale. But as for the plant itself, like, boy, it does feel like a dumb prediction because anytime, like, imagine somebody had said in 1980, like, I think corn's at its limit. Like, I think we've done all we can do with corn. And that would have seemed like a reasonable thing to say. But then there are totally new dimensions and things with corn that we didn't even think of that it could be utilized for at the time. And who knows what the next decade holds for weed and what interesting other properties they might be able to find, either from THC itself, usage for THC, or actually in the plant itself. Maybe there are many more mysteries in weed that we don't yet know, and in the next 10 years, we'll find some really cool discoveries that will make us reassess what we thought. But I'm going to stick with weed won't be a whole lot stronger 10 years from now. But I'd love to, 100% love to be proven wrong. Pixelon, welcome. Thanks for hanging out with us, Pixelon. So glad you could hang out with us. I'm so sorry, as it is about more wrapping up. Eric recommends that we do our homework and read some Kierkegaard for next time. I'm a bad philosophy major, and that I never majored in philosophy, but I've also never read my Kierkegaard. But I should, because many people say to. And that's always an accurate barometer for whether you should do something or not. Anyways, let's say that, guys, is going to do it. Eric, I take it back. Your comment was great, very optimistic, and made me think more than I thought. Because I do think I was wrong in my initial assessment that there won't be anything especially interesting happening in weed in the next 10 years. It might not just be the plant itself, but we'll see for sure. Anyways, guys, it's been wonderful hanging out. Take care. We'll see you guys on our next stream. Thanks for watching.